numerous occasions, y'all have heard me say the Republican Party is the party of white supremacy. It is the party of racists. It's the party that the KKK supports. It's the party that neo-Nazis support. Well, guess who made that perfectly clear that he's fine with that is Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville. He was talking to a radio station in Alabama, and this idiot actually said this.
We're showing our adversaries we're weak. All we got to do is go back and look at Joe Biden's, what he's done to our military with the woke ideas, with the CRT that we're teaching in our military. We are losing in the military so fast, our readiness in terms of recruitment. And why? I can tell you why. Because the Democrats are attacking our military, saying we need to get out the white extremists, the white nationalists, people that don't believe in our agenda as his Joe Biden agenda. They're destroying it. This year, we will not reach any recruiting goals in the military. So if we want to talk about looking weak, that's where we're going to look weak. We cannot start putting rules in there for one type, one group, and make different factions in the military, because that is the most important institution in the United States of America and our allies, is a strong, hard-nosed killing machine, which is called our military.
You mentioned the Biden administration trying to prevent white nationalists from being in the military. Do you believe they should allow white nationalists in the military?
Well, they call them that. I call them Americans. What happened after January the 6th, and I was here on January the 6th, we were attacked on the Senate floor saying that all these people that came into the Capitol were extremists. They were against the country. There was a lot of people, there was probably 100 of them that came in, broke windows and broke doors that should have been locked up. That's not how we do it in America, but there were hundreds of thousands that didn't come in outside that were true Americans that believe in this country.
I call white supremacists Americans. Well, that is true. It is very American to be a white supremacist. It's very much white American to be a white supremacist. That's the history of this country. Those Confederate soldiers were white domestic terrorists. They were white supremacists. So we've always had that. During Jim Crow, they were white supremacists. What's interesting and what people don't understand is that Tuberville has been attacking the black Secretary of Defense, General Lloyd Austin, a man who has won the military, who was a 4-star general. Tuberville, I think the only thing he's ever worn is a head coach's cap. That's all he's ever worn or done. So he's been attacking Austin and the Pentagon by saying that, oh, they are teaching woke, they're teaching CRT. No, actually what they're teaching, they're trying to get rid of the racists. Tuberville literally questioned whether there have been white supremacists in the United States military. Folks, there have been hearings on that. There have been numerous reports on that from the media organizations that cover the military, talking about the problem of white supremacy in the Army, in the Marines, in all of the different branches of the military. The U.S. military also bans communists. So here you have a sitting U.S. Senator from racist Alabama who said, oh, they're Americans. They support Republicans. He literally is throwing his arms around white supremacists and is saying, no, we really need them in our military. That's who Alabama sent to the Senate over Doug Jones. Lauren?
Yeah, he's a coach. Just as a personal note, I appreciated the part in there where he said it was just 100 people who came into the Capitol. My boyfriend and his friends escorted his scared ass over into the Hart Building when the attack on the Capitol happened. And so Tommy Tuberville running his mouth, and you're right, Roland, he's a coach. He's a coach. That's just what he is. He has no idea what he's talking about. CRT, woke, he's just throwing out the buzzwords, throwing out the red meat, and has no idea what he's talking about from a policy standpoint. There was absolutely no detail in what he said. And I don't know why anybody should be surprised at what he said. Donald Trump, the Tea Party, the the people, the actors who showed up right after Barack Obama was elected have made open racism fashionable once again. You know, it used to be that people were embarrassed to say these things out loud and in public. Now it's just sort of being said and nobody's checking them. And, you know, like, I'm not any longer surprised that people like Tuberville. The part that really I think we should look at closely is the fact that there's absolutely no reaction to what he said from anybody in the Republican Party. Absolutely no reaction. The reaction we get is from the Democratic side. The Republicans are completely comfortable with racism. They're completely comfortable with outward racism, with people knowing that they're racist, with, in fact, signaling to certain voters and supporters that that is what the plan and that is what the brand is. So this is the brand of the Republican Party. They're proud of it. They're open, and here we are.
I mean, Reese, it's no lie. After the shooting in Buffalo, the Republican Party voting against a resolution from Congressman Jamal Bowman dealing with the issue of white supremacy. What Lauren said is right. The Republican Party, their supporters, who they want, who they desire, are racist, and they are not going to call them out. Donald Trump did not want to call out racists because he knew they were voting for him. The KKK endorsed him.
Well, Donald Trump is also racist. And so it's a lot easier to kowtow to the white nationalist, white supremacist crowd when you are one yourself. And why not? You know, this is what gets their base ginned up, and they know that they can put out a couple of memes and put out some disinformation and dissuade enough voters, or they believe at least that they can dissuade enough voters of every ethnicity, not just Black people, but also Latinos, who are very much targeted by disinformation campaigns and fear-mongering about communism and socialism and a number of other things, and they can just be out and open with their destruction. But the reality is that the white supremacy of the Republican Party is also a war on white people. Unfortunately, though, the white people that should be rising up against it, because what the Republican Party is doing is it's eliminating things that make them have food security, that allow them to have $35 insulin, that allow them to have roads and broadband and a number of other things. They're right along with it because they get their rocks off with all this racist rhetoric. So this is to be expected because there are no consequences for it. Until there are consequences for it, and as long as they're being rewarded for it, this is what we're going to continue to see more and more brazenly.
Lee, this was last year. This is from Vice. All 208 House Republicans thumbed their noses at an amendment to a bill that would order the government to investigate white supremacist and neo-Nazi activity in the military and federal law enforcement. So this is not just Tommy Tuberville. This is the entire Republican House, and they're the folks who now control the House.
And man, it's just so disheartening, man, because this is ignorance flourishing. This is, let's be clear, this is evil flourishing, you know, because what you're saying, Tommy, is that that Black folk or people of color are less than. You're saying we're not made in the image of God. You're saying it's okay to have a military that's fully that's full, you know, that's recruiting and people are joining, even if it means us putting white supremacists in, really for your own political power. If you listen to what he said also in that quote, he says that we are no longer basically having a killing machine called the military. You remember I talked about the violence in this nation. I mean, you know, our military, is that what we're trying to build, a killing machine? The answer is yes. That's what they are trying.
Yeah, that's exactly what they want.
That's what they want.
That's all they want. They want to be able to dispatch the military wherever they go. Now you have people like Andy Biggs, a racist in the House right now, Arizona, who said that with this bill we're creating problems that do not exist. That's interesting. Go to my iPad, Henry. This is the Pentagon. Released a report, y'all. Pentagon reveals inroads white supremacists have made in military. A soldier in the Florida National Guard who co-founded a murderous fascist group was chatting with a fellow white supremacist in the extremist Iron March online forum in 2016 when the Guard member made a remarkable statement. The Guard member said he felt free to be a neo-Nazi in the U.S. Army. That's the deal. The Pentagon makes clear that there are neo-Nazis and white supremacists in the military. We know for a fact that there are neo-Nazis and white supremacists, Proud Boy members in law enforcement in this country, and the Republican Party has made it clear we are perfectly fine with those racists in law enforcement and the military. So anytime you have these black conservatives who come here and say, hey, vote for Trump, what they're saying is vote for the people who love and endorse white supremacists and neo-Nazis and who do not want them removed because they literally voted against this very bill. And they can't deny it because they did it. They did it. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. When you talk about blackness and what happens in black culture, we're about covering these things that matter to us, speaking to our issues and concerns.
This is a genuine people-powered movement.
There's a lot of stuff that we're not getting. You get it, and you spread the word.
We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We cannot tell our own story if we can't pay for it. This is about covering us. Invest in black-owned media. Your dollars matter. We don't have to keep asking them to cover our stuff. So please support us in what we do, folks. We want to hit 2,000 people, $50 this month, raise $100,000. We're behind 100,000, so we want to hit that. Y'all money makes this possible. Check some money orders. Go to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. The Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is Roland at RolandSMartin.com.